Welcome back. You're watching News Center. The RBI has released an important report on state finances and also on the working of the central government. The report points out that the liabilities of state governments is declining, but it still remains above pre-pandemic levels. The RBI has also cautioned state governments against loan waivers and schemes to provide free electricity, free transport and allowances to unemployed youth and women. The central bank argues that such spending could crowd out resources available to build critical infrastructure. It also warned about the weak health of state-owned power distribution companies. The RBI also had a word of caution for the union government. The central bank said that too many centrally sponsored schemes reduce the flexibility of state governments to spend, and it dilutes the spirit of cooperative fiscal federalism. Joining us right now is the former Finance Secretary, Mr. Garg. Mr. Garg, thank you very much for being with us on the program. Do you see some need for immediate alarm on the way the state governments are managing their finances? We're coming out of elections in different states, and we have seen subsidies, state-level schemes playing a very important role in these election outcomes as well.
So, Parikshit, if you go by the report, I think there cannot be a more sounder endorsement of the way the states have been managing their finances. For 23-24, the provisional accounts of the states tell you that the state's aggregate fiscal deficit was 2.9% of GSDP. They were allowed to do 3.5%, but they could manage 2.9%. Except in 2021, when the GDP had actually gone down and the fiscal deficit ratio of the states had gone up to more than 4%. In every year, the states have managed to hold on to less than 3% or so of the fiscal deficit. There's a lot of concern these days about the states spending so much on freebies and FDs and those things like that. But the other finding which the Reserve Bank has brought out in the report is that their revenue deficit was only 0.2% of the GDP, which is almost as if the states have been running their finances without taking or without running any revenue deficit. And all of that, 3% or so, of the fiscal deficit is being used for capital creation. There cannot be a more sound management of state finances. Now, to respond to your question about immediate, we have seen in last 1 year and 2 years, a lot of states going for cash transfer schemes, Ladli Behna, or whatever version of those are there in various states. The key point I think you should remember this is that the states are managing to incur all these expenditures without affecting the quality of their finances, which is there. So I'm not unduly concerned about states' management of finance.
Okay, the other point that strikes us is that the RBI noted in its report that too many central government schemes reduce the flexibility of state government spending and dilute the spirit of cooperative fiscal federalism. How do you see this, and what course correction can be done?
See, the impact of too many centrally sponsored schemes is not adversely reflected in the state's management of finances. Of course, it constrains the state's flexibility. The states have to not only find resources for matching the contributions for the centrally sponsored schemes, they also have to provide for the gap between what is the total and true cost of the centrally sponsored schemes and what the central government provides by way of unitary or unit cost-based kind of reimbursement to them. Increasingly, central government is putting more and more of the share of the centrally sponsored schemes. It ranges now up to 40% for many schemes, and that would be very well, the center would be very well advised to sort of give more flexibility in the centrally sponsored schemes. In fact, it should reduce the centrally sponsored schemes and should not actually undertake the kind of loan assistance which the central government has started for the last couple of years for in the name of capital expenditure. The state governments are not using that for incurring capital expenditure because their fiscal deficit is within their original limit, not the enhanced limit of the centrally sponsored or central government provided loans. So I think the center would, but this is a subject which has been going on for the last 40 years. Various committees have gone. The central government has not been able to resist the temptation of undertaking yet another centrally sponsored schemes any time. So therefore, I don't think this will be possible. But the advice, if it is taken, it should be a very well acceptable advice.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Garg, for joining us with your perspective on the RBI's latest report. Now, let's focus on another important point. In that RBI report, we were discussing with Mr. Garg about centrally sponsored schemes and also subsidies on the part of various state government. We've seen how many women-centric schemes have taken center stage in states going to polls. Be it Delhi or Karnataka, all states are coming out with schemes and making women the focal point. Shivani Bazaz tracks women-centric schemes across states to get you this report.
Well, a few years ago, women voters were often overlooked in political campaigns due to their historically lower turnout compared to their male counterparts, despite women constituting nearly half of the electorate. However, this narrative has shifted dramatically with the introduction of targeted welfare schemes. Let's start with Delhi, where the Aam Aadmi Party government has rolled out its Mukhyamantri Mahila Samman Yojana, promising a monthly stipend of 2,100 rupees for women aged 18 and above if they come back to power. Significantly, this amount has been doubled just ahead of the Delhi Assembly elections, marking a clear strategy to consolidate women voters. As of 2023, 14.83 lakh accounts were opened with the total deposits of 8,600 crore rupees in the scheme. But this playbook isn't new. Take Madhya Pradesh, where the BJP's Ladli Behan Yojana has been a game changer with a monthly payout of 1,250 rupees and an increased budget allocation of 18,900 crore for FY 24-25. The scheme proved crucial in securing BJP's recent victory in the state. Out of the total 2.78 crore women voters in the state, 1.29 crore women are direct beneficiaries of this scheme. In Maharashtra, the Mayuti government introduced the Ladki Behan Yojana with 1,500 rupees monthly payout, promising to increase it to 2,100 rupees if they come back to power. The scheme is expected to cost a massive 46,000 crore rupees annually, reflecting just how serious states are about reaching women voters. Among the 4.66 crore women voters in the state, the number of beneficiaries under the scheme stand at 2.34 crore as of December 2024. This trend isn't limited to one or two states. In West Bengal, for example, Mamata Banerjee's Lakshmir Bhandar Yojana offers 1,000 to 1,200 rupees monthly assistance to women, with 14,400 crore allocated for this year. The scheme has registered 2.5 crore women out of the total 3.7 crore women voters in the state. In Odisha, the Subhadra Yojana provides 10,000 rupees annually to women with a total payout of rupees 50,000 over 5 years, backed by a massive 10,000 crore allocation for FY 24-25. The scheme targets the state's 1.66 crore women voters. While in Karnataka, Congress government is allocating 28,600 crores for the Gruha Lakshmi Yojana, giving 2,000 rupees monthly to women heads of BPL families. The scheme so far has reached 60 lakh beneficiaries out of the total 1.66 crore women voters in the state. These schemes don't just make headlines, they deliver results. A December 2023 SBI research study found that in Madhya Pradesh, a 1% increase in marginalized women beneficiaries of the Ladli Behan Yojana led to a 0.36% rise in electoral success for the incumbent party. The report estimates this impact across 30 to 35 seats in at least 8 districts. And the impact is nationwide. Another SBI study in May 2024 during the Lok Sabha polls revealed that female voters outnumbered males in net incremental share. 93.6 lakh women voters versus 84.7 lakh men. Schemes like Ujjwala Yojana, the Matru Vandana Yojana and the PM Awas Yojana are driving this increased participation, especially in rural areas. From cash transfers to targeted women welfare-centric schemes are now at the heart of electoral strategies. With every state joining the race, it's clear that winning the trust and the votes of women could decide the next big political outcome. Back to you.
On that note, we come to the end of our special show, News Center.